भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतं वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः. तेन यः सर्वज्ञः सर्वविद्यस्य ज्ञानमयं तपः तस्मादेतद् ब्रह्मनामरूपमन्नं च जायते. This is what we have to do. So, the Jagat Karanam, the source, it cannot be something inert. The Jagat Karanam, the source of the universe, is consciousness, is a conscious being. That conscious being, the unlimited consciousness, as the source of the Nama Rupa, the name and form, is what we call Ishvara. Ishvara is not another person, another individual. Consciousness in its Swarupa is unlimited by nature. Consciousness by nature is unlimited, and that unlimited conscious being, well, as the source of the universe, is called God. And we say God, that is what it is. So the consciousness as the source of the world, as the source of the body, as the source of the mind. And there is nothing left anyway, only these three. The world, the body, and the senses, the mind. That conscious being is what is called Ishvara. Therefore, Ishvara, God being a consciousness, and if it is the source of every mind, then he cannot be awake. You see, Bhagavan cannot be awake, because every mind is in Bhagavan, is rooted in God. Therefore, where the mind manifests and where the mind becomes unmanifest, that is Ishvaraha iti. So, something inert is not the source, consciousness is the source. This is the topic that we are doing. This has a lot of, it liberates man from imaginations. Such a wonderful thing, this Vedic unfoldment. You see, you stop imagining about God, you see, God is this, that. We keep imagining God in terms of, various big individual, more powerful individual. He is not another individual. He is not another individual mind. God is not another mind, big mind. God is not another mind. He is the source of every mind. It's like water is not a big wave. You can't look upon water as something which is a bigger wave. The source of all waves is not another bigger wave. The source of all waves is the water. That is the source of all waves, and the source of all waves cannot be another wave. This creates, liberation for the one who thinks. That means God is not somewhere beyond. Bhagavan is the very truth of one's thought. Where one is thinking, that thought Every perception, the eyes, the ears, all the five senses, emotions and thought, even the thought, I am the body. You see, this entire thinking manifests where and resolves where? That is Ishvaraha. Now where can he be away? How can he be away? And therefore we become liberated from imagination. And liberation from imagination is a big liberation. You see, liberation from imagination, all the time we keep imagining, oh, it should be like this. Therefore, even when we worship Ram, we are worshipping the truth of every mind in that given form. And even the conscious being that was there in that form was Ishvara. Was Ishvara. Is not that he was not Ishvara. They will say Ishvara is the source of Rama's mind. Ishvara is the source of Krishna's mind. Ishvara is the source of Christ's mind. He is the source of every mind. But Rama knew it. That makes it avatar. That's it. He came for a given purpose. Krishna makes it, becomes an avatara because that was knowledge. He did not think I am only the form. In this manner. Therefore, we worship the source of every mind in a given form, and that form, we are not worshipping the form, we are worshipping the source of every form and every mind. And this is not understood by people. Then they say, we don't believe in God. All right, you don't believe in God, but respect others' belief. See, I don't want temples. Why? Because I don't believe in temples. Hey, you may not believe in temples, but there are people who not merely believe, they know the value of temples. You can't say that. This is all irresponsible, immature politicians. Such people should be put in the foundation of every temple. See? Foundation majboot hoga ji. I'm sorry to say that, but what to do? Because, our country, it is only by God's grace we are surviving. You know why? We always had infighting and the outsiders came and controlled us. Even now we are doing the same thing. That's why the Italians are ruling us now. फिर भी we are surviving. We are surviving. ठीक है, चल रहा है. And therefore, what is really protecting this country is dharma. I'm telling you. We have never survived through strategies. We always survived through dharma. Dharma only has been protecting us. With dharma. See, we were not invaders. We took every injustice in our stride and we are surviving. Okay, that is the topic. Anyway, here, thus Parameshwara, here the Shruti says. Now look at another Vakya. Yaha Sarvajnaha. The all-knowing being, meaning consciousness. Because everything is illumined by consciousness and therefore the all-knowing, all-illumining consciousness. Yaha Sarvajnaha, Sarvavid also means the one who is the all-knower. He is himself in the form of consciousness, and anything that comes in the way of consciousness gets illumined by consciousness. Therefore he is Sarvajnaha. As awareness, he is Sarvajnaha. As the illuminer of everything, as the light is Sarvajnaha, as the illuminer he is Sarvavid. You see, like the sun, as the light, pure light, is Sarvajnaha. If there is a form, it illumines the form. As the illuminer of the form, it is Sarvavid. Similarly, consciousness as consciousness is Sarvajnaha. as the illuminer of every form, as the illuminer of the whole creation, he is Sarvavid. So Sarvajnaha Sarvavid Yasya Jnanamayam Tapaha, and Bhagavan, he did the tapas. In order to create, he did the tapas, and tapas means here what? Jnanamayam tapa. Seeing the very unmanifest is called creation. I made it clear in the previous verse, previous class. Seeing the unmanifest is called Jnanamayam tapaha. Seeing is tapas. When you see the unmanifest, then it is become already manifest. It's like when I keep my eyes closed, the world is unmanifest as it was. When I see it, it is manifest. It is manifest. Thus, seeing the unmanifest becomes the manifest. That is a Jnanamayam Tama. Tasmadetat Brahma Nama Rupamannam Jayate. From him alone is born the name, the form, and the food, etc. Nama Rupam Annam Cha Jayate. Brahma, meaning Hiranyagarbha, etc. The Sukshma, the Sthula. So here the Shruti says from the conscious being, within conscious being appears the universe. This universe is not outside the context of consciousness. This inert universe, this creation, is not outside consciousness. Because if the universe were outside consciousness, let us just imagine, if the universe were outside consciousness, then it would not be known. It's such a simple logic. Simple unfoldment. It is not mere logic. It clinches right then and there. It clinches. Anything outside light can't get illumined. Simple. It clinches. A form that is, if there were a form not falling inside, can't be proved. Therefore, if the creation, if the universe were outside the context of consciousness, then it would never have been known. Now that it is known means it is within consciousness. Within consciousness. And therefore, the consciousness in which is illumined the whole creation, that consciousness is God, is Ishvara. So consciousness is not illumined by another consciousness. Consciousness is self-luminous. Consciousness is self-evident. Whereas the universe is illumined in consciousness. Thus, the universe is creation and consciousness is Bhagavan. And every individual is also conscious, but he takes himself to be the form, and that is how he looks like a human being as an individual. Otherwise, he is Parameshwara. Every individual is the truth. Every conscious being is the truth, and therefore we are solely conscious being, and the conscious being thinks I am the form, therefore there is a problem. Consciousness as though feeling that I am the form. So the source identifies with the creation. Consciousness identifying with the form means the source identifies with the creation. That is the confusion. That is called ignorance, self-ignorance. But anyway, coming back to the point, the Pradhanavadi says that the source of the world is inert. That's not acceptable. Why? Our experience says consciousness is the source, and the Shastram also unfolds consciousness is the source. And if consciousness is God, then tell me, where is consciousness? Consciousness, where do you go in search of consciousness? There is something, if this doesn't really strike a human being, then he is really, then you can't help him. Can't help. So in every form there is consciousness, because the one who sees the form is conscious. In every sound there is consciousness, because the hearer is conscious. In every form, in every sound, in every taste, touch, smell, in every thought there is a thinker. In every feeling there is a feeler. That conscious being is there as the aparoksham, as the subject. Thus we can't go in search of consciousness, because we are being it. We are being consciousness. We are being consciousness. Like fire going in search of heat. Fire goes in search of heat. See? And wave goes in search of water. Wave goes in search of water. See? Similarly, Jiva goes in search of Ishvara. This human being also is in search of God, in search of consciousness. That's why we have a nice doha, Punjabi doha. The doha is, लहर ढूंढे नहर को, कपड़ा ढूंढे सूत, means cotton. जीव ढूंढे ब्रह्म को, तीनों ऊत के ऊत. You understand, Wave is in search of water. A shirt is in search of cotton. And this man is in search of God. Tino Murak hai. I tell you, these are the dohas. In this country is sustained by these dohas. The society is sustained by dohas, because the mantras, the unfoldment that is given in Vedanta, which is in Sanskrit, is not, you can't really memorize and repeat. But the essence of that Veda is available in all our folklore. Our folklore is all Vedanta. Whether it is any Mahatma anywhere in any country, any Baba coming anywhere, a good Mahatma is always, always whatever he gives becomes a doha. Tulsidas doha. They are all dohas, Kabir Das ka dohas. And therefore, whenever the country's dimag goes little teda, some Mahatma is born somewhere and then dimag theek ho jata hai. See? And therefore, going in search of consciousness, so even to think that I don't have to search God, I have to understand God, is a big liberation. It's a big liberation for man. I don't have to go in search of God, because He is not at a given place. He is not at any given time. He is not in a particular time He is available, or at a particular place He is available, or in a particular situation He is available. It's not like that. That means I don't have to search truth, because it is not separate from myself. It's not other than myself. Therefore, I have to understand how I am the truth. I don't have to go in search of truth, which is a big liberation. You see? I don't have to go anywhere. That means you can really relax. Even suspension of the search, coming out of this search is a relaxation. I don't have to go in search, relaxes you. What else is relaxation? I don't have to go in search of truth. I don't have to go in search of happiness. I don't have to go in search of freedom. I don't have to go in search of peace elsewhere. I have to only understand how this very subject is the truth, is the peace, is the freedom, is the eternal, is the divine. And therefore, the search goes away and reflection begins. The search goes away, the study begins. The search goes away and thinking begins. When you are searching, then you are not thinking. When I discover that I don't have to search, then I am thinking. Then I am trying to look at myself. I am trying to look at myself and understand myself. In fact, every penance that is prescribed by Vedanta is a way of looking at oneself, coming back to oneself, turning one's attention to oneself. You know, this turning one's attention to oneself is no ordinary thing. Who is this me? This question is a very big turning point in life. It's a very big, if a person says it and means it. Who is this me? Who is this me who just wakes up, who sees the waking world and who sees again the dream and then really transcends both waking and dream? Who is this me? Thus, when a person makes himself the topic, then it's relaxation. I tell you, relaxation is not stifled by work. That I have to work in office cannot kill my relaxation. So roti ke liye, if you have to survive for Sharira Yatra, you have to earn your bread. Earning bread is not a disturbance in life. What disturbs man is that I have to search and find my happiness. I have to search out. I have to go out. I have to search and find my well-being outside in the world. This searching for happiness in the world is what? Searching one's happiness in the objects. This thinking that my happiness lies elsewhere. My peace lies elsewhere. My freedom lies elsewhere. It is this thinking that takes away the rest, mental rest. The relaxation is taken away by that thinking. If that is rectified, that I don't have to do anything, I have to only educate myself about myself. But pick up this phrase. I have to educate myself about myself. I have to look at myself as unfolded in Gita, etc. I have to look at myself. I may go out to work for my bread. That is not a big deal. That's not a big deal. Survival is not a big deal. That is not what destroys mental peace. Work doesn't kill mental peace. But the conclusion that I have to find my happiness elsewhere, it is that takes away the mental. Therefore, the Shruti tells here, my dear, the source of the universe is not something that is inert. The source of the universe is consciousness. Ityevamādinyapi, the statements like this. Sarvajña Ishvara Karanaparani. The statements like this must be interpreted to mean Ishvara Vakyani Udahartavyani. There are so many statements, there are so many Vakyas in Vedanta which can all be cited here to show that Vedanta always refers to Ishvara as the source of the universe. And that Ishvara is described as consciousness. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, etc. Sarvajnaha, Sarvavit, Ityad. Therefore, we can't really conclude that some inert matter is the source. All right, if inert matter is the source, what do I get out of it? You see supposing you make a conclusion. This whole inert world has come from another inert matter. Then what do I get out of it? Supposing if that is the truth. Then what do I get out of it? No, then they will say you are a Purusha other than matter. Even if I am other than matter, I still become limited anyway. Because there are two realities. One is matter, the other is me, the consciousness. So if consciousness is one reality and matter is another reality, then there being two realities, one excludes the other and therefore both become limited. Both become limited. Therefore, by making this conclusion that matter is one reality, consciousness is another reality, we don't get liberation. Our problem doesn't get solved. The sense of limitation doesn't go. But if we see Vedanta, then the Vedanta says matter is not another reality, matter is rooted in consciousness. Like thought is not, a reality other than the thinker. Thought is not something that is other than the thinker. In fact, thought takes place in the thinker and gets resolved in the thinker. How can it be something else? Dream is not a reality parallel to other than the dreamer. The dream is dreamt by the dreamer and resolves in the dreamer. Perceptions begin in conscious being and resolve in conscious being. Therefore, the Vedic culture does not accept matter as a parallel reality. This is the distinction. Matter is not parallel. Matter is something ananya, non-separate from consciousness. And therefore, hey Purvapakshi, even if we make a conclusion that Pradhanam is the Jagat Karanam, we don't get anything out of it. Even if you say Purusha excludes the Prakriti, this consciousness excludes matter, but still consciousness is unlimited. You can't say that. It is illogical. Because anything that is exclusive is limited. That which is all-inclusive is unlimited. So God cannot exclude something. God should be, consciousness should be all-inclusive as itself. Like water is inclusive of all waves as itself. Gold is inclusive of all ornaments as itself. Similarly, Parameshwara, Brahman is inclusive of everything as itself. Therefore, it can't exclude. Therefore, even if you say consciousness is unlimited, though it is other than matter, it doesn't work. Then, yattu uktam sattva dharmena jnanena sarvajnam pradhanam bhavishyati iti tanna upapadyate. Then Pradhanavadi said, this thought is not born of consciousness, thought is born of matter, he said. Because this matter has got, three gunas, three qualities. One is sattva, that pradhanam, the source of matter, is also matter anyway. So this matter has got three qualities. One is sattva, the second is rajas, third is tamoguna. So matter enjoys a quality called sattva, which itself transforms and becomes a thought. So they look upon thought as the product of pradhanam. So pradhanam has got sattva dharma. Okay, but when there is a resolution, there is a laya in the state of pradhanam. When the pradhanam, before the srishti, only pradhanam is there. Okay, if pradhanam is there, then pradhanam has got 3 gunas. Now, if pradhanam has 3 gunas, at that level, at that stage, is it sarvajna? Can it be sarvajna? Means can it be all over? It cannot be all over, because he said the sattva, it has that is the potentiality for, that has the potentiality for the sarvajnatva. But the problem is, along with the sattva, there is also rajoguna, there is also tamoguna. Therefore, if you say there is only sattva, then sarvajna, all right. But there is sattva and rajoguna and tamoguna. Therefore, so it can never be sarvajna, it can only be kinchijna. It's like, an individual, you have the interest for education. Just, it's a school of thought. I have to explain, you have to listen. Suppose there is an individual who has interest for education, but he has also ambition for some other things. He has also ambition for money. So his interest for education is sattva. His interest for material pleasures is rajoguna. And he is lazy also, tamoguna. So now you have 3 gunas in the mind. He has little interest. 1/3 of the mind is interest for education. The other 1/3 is they love to have pleasures. He wants to have nice time also. And then he has a lot of, he wants to take his classmates, some girlfriends to Sagar also. So that is the 1/3. And the third 1/3 is, he is little lazy also. Now can he really have education? He can only have partial. He can only get really whatever is taught in the school. He can only grasp 1/3. He can't grasp the whole of it. Why? 2/3 of his mind is elsewhere. Only 1/3 of his mind is there in the studies. Therefore, he cannot really learn everything that is taught. In the same manner, if pradhanam has sattoguna, rajoguna, tamoguna, it can never be sarvajna. It cannot be sarvajna. Because tamoguna hampers sattoguna. Rajoguna hampers sattoguna. Therefore, the interest for learning is hampered by other ambitions. The interest for learning is hampered by even the lethargy, etc. So if sattoguna, if pradhanam has got sattoguna, then it is not only sattoguna but also rajoguna, tamoguna. That means it can never be sarvajna, all-knowing. Just accepting that sattva is jnanam. Now, yattu uktam sattva-dharmena jnanena sarvajnam pradhanam bhavishyati iti tanna upapadyate. Pradhanam cannot be sarvajna just because it has got one sattva guna. Nahi pradhana avasthayam guna samyat sattva-dharmo jnanam sambhavati. In the state of, when everything resolves, we say it is pradhanam. So before creation, according to you, there is silent matter. Now that silent matter, how many gunas it has? It has 3 gunas. Not only sattva but also rajoguna, tamoguna. That means it can't have only jnanam because it is hampered by rajoguna, tamoguna also. Therefore jnanam sambhavati. Nanu uktam sarvajnana shaktimatvena sarvajnam bhavishyati. And now the Purvapakshi says, even though it is not sarvajna at that stage, but it has the potential for sarvajna. Sattva means potential, it has the potentiality for thought, all right. But rajoguna has the potentiality to hamper it. Tamoguna has the potentiality to hamper it. You see? Therefore, there is an antidote, there is an opposite. Therefore, it is a neutralizer. Rajoguna neutralizes Satoguna. Tamoguna neutralizes Satoguna. They in fact work against each other. And therefore, the Rajoguna and Tamoguna do not allow the Satoguna to be all-knower. And therefore, even potentially it cannot be Sarvajna. I mean accepting thought as knowledge. But we don't accept thought as knowledge. The one who thinks is the knowledge. Thought is not consciousness. The one who thinks the thought is the jnanam, is the consciousness. You understand? You think of your house now. When you remember, think of your house. There is a memory of the house. Is that memory of the house knowledge? Memory of the house is not the knowledge. The one who remembers is knowledge, is conscious. That memory is not conscious. The one who remembers is conscious. Thus, we do not accept thought as knowledge. Thought is not consciousness. The one who thinks is consciousness. And the thought takes place in the thinker, the conscious subject, the conscious being. And the same thought resolves again unto that thinker, the conscious being. Therefore, it is the thinker which is jnanam. It is the thinker that is consciousness. It is the thinker that is the subject. It is the thinker that has continuity. Whereas the thought is known, illumined. The thought gets illumined. The thought gets known. The thought doesn't know. Thought doesn't know. Thought is known. The feeling doesn't feel. The feeling is felt. Thought is known. Emotions are known. They are objectified. They are observed. And therefore they cannot be jnanam. Thoughts are not knowledge. The one who thinks is of the nature of knowledge. Therefore, subject is the knowledge. This particular topic, if this we figure out clearly, generally we live with the idea that the thought is knowledge. This is how we live. When there is thought, there is knowledge. When there is no thought, there is no knowledge. That is the problem. Thought is not knowledge. The one who thinks is the knowledge. Dream objects are not knowledge. The one who is aware of it is knowledge, is consciousness. I am using the word knowledge in the sense of consciousness. The one who is conscious of the dream is consciousness. The one who is conscious of the dream is consciousness. And the dream is all thoughts. Dream objects are all thoughts. Thoughts are not consciousness. The one who thinks them is consciousness. What are we? Are we all thoughts put together? Are we a thought? The subject is the one who thinks every thought. Thought after thought we think. Perception after perception we entertain. Memory after memory we entertain. But the one who perceives, the one who thinks, and the one who remembers, he is not a thought, he is a conscious being. Thus we do not accept the Sankhya school which says thought is knowledge. Thought is knowledge, we don't accept. thought is not knowledge, the thinker is knowledge. So even if you say thought is the manifestation of sattva dharma, even then it is not knowledge. Nor does the thought is a manifestation of sattva dharma. Thought is straight away a creation in consciousness. Thought is not a product of matter. Matter is an object of thought. Matter is an object of thought. Matter is an object of thought. Thought pertains to matter. But thought itself is born in consciousness, resolves in consciousness. Thought is a creation in consciousness. Thought is not a creation of matter. Have you heard this sentence? Thought is a creation in consciousness, not a creation of matter. We are experiencing the thoughts taking place in the conscious observer, in the conscious thinker. And therefore we clinch two ideas here. Neither thought is knowledge, nor is it the product of pradhanam. Neither it is knowledge. Neither thought is knowledge, nor is it the product of pradhanam. Then what is knowledge? The thinker is knowledge. The thinker is knowledge. The one who is aware of the waking is knowledge. The one who is aware of the dream is knowledge. And the one who is aware of even the negation of both is knowledge. Thus we, the subject, is knowledge. The subject is knowledge. And what are the thoughts? They are all creations within the knowledge, within the conscious being. And they are not born of pradhanam. These two ideas, if they are picked up, then you have picked up a lot in this particular context. Therefore here it says, tadapi na upapadyate. Yadi gunasamye sati sattva vipashrayam jnana shakti vashritya sarvajnam pradhanam ucheta kamam rajas tamo vyapashrayamapi jnana pratibandhaka shakti vashritya kinchijñatvam uchyate. Kinchijñam uchyeta. So if you think that pradhanam becomes sarvajna on the basis of sattva guna, I say pradhanam can be kinchijñaha, means its knowledge is limited because it has got rajoguna and tamoguna. You see, it is rajoguna and tamoguna. It may have sattva guna according to you. Okay, sattva guna may create some knowledge, all right, according to you. But what about rajoguna, tamoguna? Therefore, it cannot be only sarvajna. It can't be sarvajna. Like, you have, there is sugar in your, sometimes you make, what is that called? Bel pudi. Is it bel pudi? Tamarind and sugar both are mixed. What is it called? That is. And so there is a tamarind and there is also sweet. So you can't call it only sweet because there is tamarind. It is sour also. Nor can it be only sour because there is sweet also. And there may be some other things. Therefore it is a mixture. So where it is a mixture of sattva-guna, rajoguna, tamoguna, then you can't say there is sarvajñatvam. There is only jnanam or only rajoguna or only ambition or only laziness. It is a mixture of both. Therefore pradhanam becomes the potential. Pradhanam has the potentiality for a little knowledge Pradhanam has a potentiality for ambition. Pradhanam has potentiality for negative thinking also. That much you can say. But Pradhanam cannot have the potentiality for omniscience. For omniscience, and therefore matter cannot be the all-knower. Whereas in Vedanta, the source of the universe is described as the omniscient, all-knowing being. If it is all-knowing being, then definitely it has to be a conscious being. Therefore, Ishvara is a conscious being. The source is a conscious being, not matter. Not matter. Nor the scientists are going to discover the matter as the truth of the universe. They cannot discover because whatever you see is a part of matter. The source of the universe, if they say it is another matter, that is again matter anyway, then they will say what is the source of that matter. What is the source of that? The source of the matter, they can't discover it as another matter. Then there will be a question, who is this me who is looking at the matter? The source of the matter is matter, but who is this me who is looking at both the universe and the pradhanam, the source, the matter? I am aware of the physical matter, I am also aware of the subtle matter, alright, but who is this observer? So you have to account for the observer. And without accounting for that observer, then really nothing is clinched. Nothing is clinched. Nothing is determined without taking into account the observer, the subject. And therefore, one doesn't have to even feel, oh, maybe what the scientists say is right, because they say only matter has come from matter. That is all because one doesn't reflect. That is how one loses Shraddha in the Shastram also. What is this Shastram? Now we are going to the moon. This is how people talk. Hey, man has gone to the moon, you are still studying Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is an old thing. Bhagavad Gita is an old thing. Vedanta is an old thing. Man has reached the moon. Hey, so what? He is only going to the moon only for survival really. It is all survival program. When they go to the moon, they look for really, is there something which we can take to the earth? And then really commercialize it. They are looking for various things. And therefore, the entire science is geared for only survival. Vedanta is talking about this conscious being who is looking through the eyes, hearing through the ears, the one who is observing the world. And that observer is the topic. That conscious being is the topic. Its topic is not how to survive. Its topic is who is this conscious being who has taken a form, and every day he leaves the form, puts on the form. He comes into time, transcends time. When he sleeps, he transcends time. When he wakes up, he comes into time as it were. And when he transcends thought and again puts on the thought, leaves the body, puts on the body, leaves the mind, puts on the mind, leaves time and again gets into time. Who is this conscious observer? This is the topic. And therefore, we cannot say that without taking into account the observer we can solve any problem in life. Without taking into account ourselves, we can't answer any question in life. And therefore here says avasthayam gunasamya sattva dharmo jnanam sambhavati. So we can kinchijñatvam uchcheta, kinchijñam uchcheta. You can put a mark there. So we will come back later on in the next, when we come back from the vacation, we will continue. But now what is to be understood is, we negate the Sankhyavada, we negate the Sankhya school for the just to liberate the student, to help the student to see that he doesn't really think in terms of matter as the source of matter. Because the entire matter is a part of creation. The entire matter is a part of it. This is one thing. The second thing is the Purusha. Neither the matter is the source of matter, nor there are many Purushas. This idea, that comes, I am one conscious being and the other is another conscious being. Each individual is a different conscious being. We are different conscious beings and different realities. And therefore there are many conscious. This idea of many conscious beings also is not true. Because when a person goes to sleep, there is no second object, there is no second person also. There is no second person, there is no second object, there is no second person. It is only when I take a form, then I have the idea that there are other conscious beings. When I take the form, then I start thinking there is a universe, there is a world. Therefore, when I transcend the form, I transcend the other, I transcend the idea that there are other conscious beings. And therefore, conscious being is one and it is non-dual. And it is also non-dual because there is no object other than it, and there is no second conscious being other than it. This is what the author in this particular prakaranam, what is being established, what is being clinched is that there is no second Purusha and there is no object also second to the Purusha. In that manner the Purusha is Advitiyam, and as Advitiyam that Purusha is Ishvaraha. So the Ishvara is nothing but that Advitiya conscious being. And this is what is to be discovered about oneself. And then if that is the thing, then I don't have to go in search of the Purusha. I don't have to go in search of the reality, nor do I have to fear the object, nor do I have to fear the other individuals. Why? Because all of them boil down to one. And therefore, the likes and dislikes for the other objects has no meaning. The likes and dislikes for the people also have no meaning. I have to figure out the objects as non-separate from the Purusha, and I have to figure out all that is objectified is non-separate from the conscious being. And I have to also understand that there is no second conscious being. Thus, figuring out everything as one conscious being becomes the Vedanta, becomes the education, and therefore I can live my life educating myself, studying myself to understand myself. That is called really a life of relaxation. I don't have to go anywhere, work to survive and relax and keep studying the Shastram to understand oneself. This is exactly what is going to be clinched as we proceed further. This is what is going to be concluded, will be determined. And we will continue this particular topic when we come back from the class, from the vacation, because this is going to take many classes. Therefore, you can just hear this particular point is clinched. Pradhanam cannot be Sarvajna. Even if it has got Sattva Guna, it cannot be Sarvajna because there is also Rajoguna and Tamo Guna, which can hamper the knowledge of Pradhan. We'll continue it later on. And we will come back. The classes will continue till 27th. And from 28th onwards, we will have no classes. We will come back next month, that is October 24th. October 24th, we will reopen the classes. That happens to be Wednesday. So by that time your Dasharas also will be over. So on 24th we will resume the classes. But these classes will continue till 27th. 27th will be the last class. But Sunday class, this is the last class, and when we come back, we'll continue it. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaha Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sri Ramachandra. Individuals are all non-separate from him. He is the truth of all individuals. Rama, we worship a given individual. Rama also, even you are not an individual. Individuality is kalpita. The one individual means what? Individualities. God is the reality of every individuality. But the one who assumes the individuality is Parameshwara. And therefore, until I know that fact, I am a jiva. And if there is a particular jiva with a lot of powers and wisdom to handle some problem in the Srishti, then we call it avatara. Therefore, Rama, that form is not really Ishvara, a given form is not Ishvara, but the conscious being that indwelt that form, like any conscious being, conscious being indwelling any form, is Ishvara. Therefore, we are only worshipping Ishvara in that particular form. Not we are worshipping that form as Ishvara. Form is not, we are using the form as a means of worship to Ishvara. We are not worshipping that particular form. What is wrong in it? Avatara is there. Avatara means when there is Srishti and there is a law of karma, and if there are jivas and there is something called dharma and adharma, and if adharma goes up and goes too much, then the same law throws up an individual. Throws up means the same Parameshwara can assume a given form and rectify that imbalance. That is also within avidya. We don't say avatara is outside avidya. If creation is kalpita, the law of karma is kalpita, then jivatvam is kalpita, then avatar also is kalpita, even ishwaratvam is kalpita. So within kalpita we come. But the one whom we worship, that Ishvara, the consciousness, that is not kalpita, that is the truth. That role, avatara role is kalpita. That role is kalpita. The one who played the role, that is truth. See, that is the truth. That is the truth of everybody. A role is kalpita, yes. Shabda, we said.
So, without Vedanta, one can't actually stumble upon it.
No, you can't. You can't figure out.
So, all these sages who in India,
they had Shabda Pramana.
To say that I asked within the question, who am I, and then came without any formal education in there.
No. Even then, they had satsangs vagera. See, who am I is a question born of exposure to Shruti. Not independent. If somebody says independent of Vedanta, maybe Purva Janma you must have heard, it's called Arsha Jnana. Then it is Arsha. Arsha means samskara. That is okay. So, no instance, it's like saying, You can't see a form without sight. Okay? Now you can't come up, I saw a person, I know one person, even though he doesn't have eyes, but still, he sees in his mind. Say, even when he sees in mind, supposing he remembers, maybe he had eyes, and he had seen, and later on he lost the eyes, now he may be remembering it. Therefore, no example, no instance is going to really go against the statement that you can't see the form without the eyes. And supposing a person who is born blind does see some forms, then we would say, well, Purva Janme kiya avyakrit to hai. Avyakrit to hai, he may have some perception. So, and in the same manner, Shabda is a pramanam. So that it is pramanam. When we say Shabda is a pramanam, by means of which alone one can really think about oneself, one can understand oneself, we do not mean to say that Vedanta is useful. Aisa nahi. Vedanta helps you. Aisa nahi, aise there is no alternate. It's a pramanam. It is not that it gives you a helping hand and all that. Aisa nahi. Vedanta alone points out your anubhava. It turns your attention to your anubhava. Only Vedanta traces Jagrat to the Advitiya Atma, the Sushupti. See, Sushupti is Advitiya Anubhava. Sushupti is the Anubhava Advitiya. It is neither Jnanam about Advitiyam nor ignorance about Advitiyam. It is a state of Advitiya Anubhava, unrecognized. That Anubhava unrecognized is called ignorance. Distorted is an error. But what is Sushupti? Advitiya Anubhava. That's pointed out by the Shruti Pramanam. And other than Shruti Pramanam, you can't say in Sushupti there is ignorance, in Sushupti there is tamas, etc. Sushupti is Anubhava of Advaitam. And that's not recognized. That non-recognition is what is called the ignorance. Even if you use the word tamo guna, it means that non-recognition. Therefore, there is tamas or ignorance about Sushupti, not ignorance in Sushupti. There is no ignorance in Sushupti, there is ignorance about Sushupti. There is no ignorance in Atma, there is ignorance about Atma. There is no ignorance in the rope, there is ignorance about the rope. It is avidya vishayam. And therefore, here, what we have to say is, Shabda Pramana is not just gives you a mere helping hand. Aisa nahi. Thoda madad bhi kar leta hai, aisa nahi. Like, eyes, you must have eyes, because they help you. They do little help. Thoda bahut aapka madad ho. Hey, if there are no eyes, there is no alternate. Supposing there is an alternative, then you can use the language, thoda madad ho jaye. इनको साथ ले जाओ, आपको थोड़ा मदद करे. That means what? Sometimes even without him you can manage. Then you can say थोड़ा मदद हो जाएंगे. इनको साथ ले जाओ, थोड़ा मदद हो जाएगा. And the other person says, no, I don't need him. That means what? I can manage without him. Therefore, whenever somebody extends a madad, you can always say, I can manage without him. Can anybody say, I can manage without eyes? Means I can manage to see the form without the eyes. I can manage to hear without the ears. Similarly, one can't say, I can manage to know the truth without Shabda Pramanam, Vedanta Pramanam. That's not possible. वो नहीं होगा जी. Clear है ना? ठीक है. We'll come back. We'll continue आराम से.